Albert from Denmark here. I'm part of the 2024 Explorer program for KILROY, and that's why I'm on your screen right now. I'm in beautiful Korea, and let's have some fun.
Our journey starts in the bustling city of Seoul, a metropolitan known for being futuristic like Tokyo, but also authentic with its many markets and its very delicious street food. In our group, we were about 20 people traveling together, so to really bond us, we first attended the Taekwondo culture class. With me being severely out of shape, this proved into quite the task, but in the end, I pushed through and finally got my participation award. Easy win. With time to spare after the Taekwondo class, we ventured up to the viewpoint of Seoul Tower and watched the beautiful nightscape of Seoul from above. Leaving Seoul for half a day, we went to the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea. First, making a stop to a nearby museum park.
So we're currently in, I would guess it's like a monumental park that marks the separation of Korea into North and South. As a part of that, there's a few different monuments here. One of them marks the pleasure girls, as they were called, from the Japanese invasion, where girls were forced to be into prostitution by Japanese soldiers. And there's two different statues that they've made. One is for South Korea and one is for North, for when they one day get unified.
We had a presentation and got a chance to interview a North Korean defector who told us the harrowing tale of how he managed to crawl through a minefield while getting shot at by fellow North Koreans while he made his escape. After the museum area, we made our way into the nearby grounds of the DMZ. Due to current tensions between the North and the South, there were a lot of things we were not allowed to film or photograph. Making our way back from the DMZ, we were tired, but we still had more adventures ahead. The rain had started to go down hard, so me and some others hid ourselves in a tropical indoor basement cafe. Yes, I know that sounds weird, but it was quite cozy. But peace doesn't last long, and the drums of participation could be heard in the distance. These drums came from a K-pop song, since our next activity was K-pop class. It was my second most dreadful experience on this trip. We had a great dance teacher, but there's no help for my lack of so-called motor skills. And to the sound of Supernova by aespa, I once again stood in front of my personal Everest, and with pure tenacity, willpower, and completely drenched in sweat, I once again claimed another participation award. With the power of memory suppression, we woke up to another beautiful day in Seoul. There's now time to the more cultural part of our trip, in which we visited Gyeongju Palace for its guard-changing ceremony and to wear traditional hanboks. The changing ceremony we experienced weren't apparently the regular, but the extended one, which was really cool to see. The guards showcased their skills in front of an actor representing the king, while drums echo throughout the courtyard. After, we went to the hanbok rental shops next to the palace to change into our hanboks. One cool thing is, if you're wearing a hanbok, you get a free entry into the palace. So if it's something you consider doing, combining the two is a great option.
So, we are now at the former royal palace, and I am wearing a hanbok. It is traditional Korean clothing, just like the Japanese have kimonos and stuff like that. Then the Koreans have hanboks, which I'm probably completely butchering. But this is the palace. It's been rebuilt since it was destroyed because South Korea have a tendency to end up in war. Therefore, this is like a rebuilding of it, but it's still like completely as it used to be, just with new materials.
The entire group went to different directions after the hanbok session. Some went to the Starfield Library, while me and some others opted for more street food and markets. Gyeongju Street Food Market was one of my absolute favorites, and is known for being in the Netflix show Street Food Asia. The actual stall featured in the Netflix show was really popular, but according to locals, you can get just as delicious dishes from any of the other stalls. We had dumplings from one of the other stalls and they were amazing. Another street food market we went to was the Myeongdong night market, which feels a bit like a tourist trap, but boy, did it feel good to fall in that trap. And it's delicious chicken skewers. The food standard in Korea is generally really high, so at no point did I fear spending a night on the porcelain throne after my semi-dodgy food choices. Leaving Seoul in the morning, we head out for Seoraksan National Park, known for its stunning beauty and its various hiking trails. Not being one to turn down a challenge, I of course picked the hardest one of the options we had.
There was a couple of different hikes we could do. We took the hardest one, which is going to be approximately 4 hours, which is going to be absolute hell for me and Liam, who's back there, because we had probably, and like, it's no one's fault, but we probably had the worst roommates imaginable. Not much sleep, but gotta look at the positive. We are in an absolutely incredible place. So yeah, and hopefully I will not be crying in the end of this, because I have the physical form of a 80-year-old man.
The trail we picked was described as a 3-hour hike back and forth, but what no one tells you about is just how many stairs is involved in this project. Since we were doing this climb in the fall, the red leaves really came through, and so did the chipmunks.
We did it. We made it to the top. I am severely out of shape. I'm sweating where I shouldn't be sweating. And everyone else is not. Well, our group is, but everyone local are not sweating. So when I said I have the physique of a 80-year-old, I meant 80-year-old from Denmark. Because everyone here is way more fit than me. Well, time to enjoy this view and then get down again, I guess.
Enjoying what can only be described as one of the best views of my life, we gathered the beautiful landscape for about 10 minutes before we semi-run down the mountain in order to reach our bus in time. After barely making the bus, we head to our next destination, Sokcho, which is a city by the sea.
We have now reached Sokcho street food market where we're gonna have our dinner. It looks absolutely amazing. And this place is known for one of the places where you get especially North Korean kind of food, because a lot of North Korean defectors ended up settling down here back in the 50s and the 60s because it's so close to the North Korean border. So we're gonna try some local delicacy. It's also where Korean fried chicken originates from, which is like absolutely amazing.
At a market we tried the chicken squid haggis, which is surprisingly nice, and possibly the worst garlic bread ever invented, but that one's on me, who clearly didn't roll the correct dice of fate that day. We woke up in a new place, and what better way to start your morning than heading up to look at a bus stop. Yep, our destination was a bus stop. Now, a few of you are probably screaming through the screens at me, since it's not just any bus stop, but the BTS stop, built for the cover album of Spring Day, which is quite funny when you think of the BTS army venturing there, since there's a lot of actual army outposts just next to it. Getting back on our bus and far away from the stop, we leave for Gyeongju, known for its archaeological sites and the Cheongnacheong ancient tombs. It's believed that pretty much the entire city center lies upon one massive archaeological site, and therefore the city is trying to slowly buy back the city center to uncover more of Korea's untold history. Sadly, a lot of knowledge and heritage from this city has already been lost due to Japanese occupation, but it's still a great insight to Korean history to visit Gyeongju. Of noteworthy things we did was to visit a traditional tea house, see the night palace and the night bridge, as well as doing a bike tour around the city. Do you guys also hear that? Sound like foreshadowing again. Leaving Gyeongju, we arrive at the Golgulsa temple stay, a Buddhist temple where we once again have our participation skills put to the test. Now, as I said earlier, there's something which topped the K-pop class in how it makes me shiver to my spine, and that, my dear friends, is the Sunmundo training and the stick of eternal suffering. Sunmundo is an ancient traditional martial art which looks beautiful when you can actually do it. But when you do the warm-up, you look more like the drunken uncle from that side of the family you don't really talk to anymore. Having successfully cleared the warm-up, we got flexed by the monk training us, making us sure we did feel as much inadequate as possible. After some light martial art training and making us even more humbled, it was time to do the worst thing on this entire trip, the 108 bows. Doing the Buddhist ritual of 108 bows, which is part of Korean Buddhism, is to repent for everything you take for granted. It is 20 minutes of just pure pain. Every time the monk hits his hand with the stick, we bow. I would be lying if I said I did all 108 bows, but I probably only managed 100, since I broke down for a full minute, contemplating several of my life choices that led me to this very moment. By the end, I had only one thought left. I hate that stupid stick. After we had the best vegetarian dinner I've had in a long time, probably due to extreme hunger post-stick workout, we went to bed made for kings. With our souls, legs and backs cleansed from modern world comfort, we leave behind Golgulsa temple and head to Busan with bullet train.